Welcome to the Art of Being Happy, Buddha's Guide to Modern Living from Jethavanarama Buddhist Monastery, Sri Lanka. This intriguing talk series brings timeless Buddhist wisdom to help you navigate life's challenges through simple, practical insights. Each episode offers gentle guidance for finding peace and joy in everyday moments. Join us on this journey toward lasting happiness and inner peace. Brought to you by Sanathanavani, the voice eternal.
You got to understand your mind first. All these stories that your mind keeps telling you, don't buy all of that. When your mind says, I'm brave, I can do this, I can do that. The last thing you should do is trust your mind when your mind speaks with ignorance. Didn't your mind tell you that you'd be happy when you get married? Your mind told you that. Didn't your mind tell you that you'd be happy when you go on that roller coaster ride? When you go on that trip? When you get into that job? And see, where are you now? This is not meant to insult you. This is meant to open your eyes. Don't fall for what your mind tells you when your mind speaks with ignorance. Ignorance is just that. Ignorance of the truth. Ignorance of what happiness truly is the most disastrous weapon that you have, your own mind, when it speaks out of ignorance. Only a mind that speaks with wisdom can be trusted. Only when it speaks with wisdom can the mind be trusted. But when the mind speaks with ignorance, it must not be trusted. The mind says, jump off a cliff. The mind says, see what things the mind says. Have you not seen people do crazy adventure stuff? They call it adventure. You look at that and go, good Lord, what are these people thinking about? There's a hungry lion in a cage and someone thinks it's a smart idea to put their hand into it. You not seen that? Or there's an alligator and someone thinks it's a smart idea just to stick its finger to see whether they can provoke the animal. And how many times has such things gone wrong? Apparently YouTube is full of them. How people think it's fun, but they sometimes don't even live to tell the tale. But it just gets captured on camera, and so others realize, I shouldn't try that. I remember a long time ago, there was a TV series called 1,000 Ways to Die. And many of those were about things, interesting, fun things that people would do. Because their mind said, do it. Get on a slide and slide. How many times have those things gone wrong? Getting on a roller coaster, how many times have they gone wrong? Plenty of times, ladies and gentlemen, these things have gone wrong and people have suffered as a result of that. Racing, just think about it for a second. People think it's a good idea to get into a car and race on the racetrack. They don't realize how much of a risk they're putting themselves through. It's fun for you to watch it for entertainment, but just think about the risk that the man puts himself in once he gets into the car. Formula One racing. As they drive at blazing speeds around those bends. Just watching it, my heart skips a beat. Just imagine what those minds must be telling them to do. I used to enjoy adventure. Today, oh no. Because now I don't listen to everything my mind says. I realize today that those days my mind was full of ignorance and used to tell me to do this, that, and the other. And I was putting myself into unnecessary risks. The tiniest, the simplest mistake would have costed me my life. An opportunity I had to free myself from suffering. Go into the hospitals, ladies and gentlemen, and see there are many people there who are now paralyzed, bedridden, because of something that they did for fun. They never thought it would happen to them, but it did. I enjoyed mountain climbing. Those are things I used to do. It was fun. The excitement of it, the adrenaline rush, that's what I wanted. What a fool I was. One slip, one fall would be all it would take, and I wouldn't be here today. Just imagine if I died 10 years ago doing one of those things, what would I have lost? The Dhamma, right? Because the Dhamma was due to come to me 5 years later, 10 years later, if something had happened to me. That's why I say, don't trust everything your mind tells you. If it speaks out of ignorance, you must not trust it. And the problem is this: we are all born with ignorance. So unfortunately, there's the only voice that you can hear is an ignorant voice. So what's the remedy? How do you come out of that? If the only voice you hear is an ignorant voice, it's not like you have two voices, one with ignorance and one with wisdom. It's not like that. Until you have seen the Dhamma and begun to realize that happiness is not in these worldly pursuits, it's not in these adventure sports, it's not in driving a car down the street at blazing speeds. It's not in any of that. It's not in archery, it's not in horse riding, it's not in any of these things, but it's in discovering that happiness is within myself. Until the mind sees that, the mind is going to want to go after these worldly pleasures and pursuits. Now put all those adventure stuff to aside for a moment. Think about how much some people expend their valuable lives trying to start up and build up a business. There may be plenty of businessmen out there amongst you. I also wanted to do business at one point in my life. In fact, alongside my university life, I started something just on the side to see how it would go. And then very soon I got the Dhamma. And then I realized that's not what I wanted to do in my life. Perhaps if I had gone down that path, I would have become a successful businessman today. But then what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is just imagine if you had invested your entire life in building up a business, right? Yes, by the end of your 50 years of existence, you might have built up an empire. Perhaps. Maybe a number of different businesses. Today it's a conglomerate. Perhaps. But then what have you done for yourself? Your assets will be in the billions, if not in the millions. But what for yourself? You would have not moved one step closer to true happiness. You know, if you read the biographies of people like Steve Jobs, you know what they say towards the end? This is how I built my business, this is how I built up my company, but at the end I realized that true happiness was not in any of that. Why do we have to keep going making the same mistakes over and over again until we realize that we are also just lab rats? Please remember this: if you don't have your own plan, you're in someone else's plan. You know, the whole world, they're plotting up against you. I want you to realize that. And it's not because they're bad or terrible, it's because that's the way the system works. The whole world is plotting up against you. Let me explain to you. The government, they want you to be in jobs because you have to keep the country going. You have to keep the economy moving. Is that what you were born for? The schools want you to become teachers. Students want you to become teachers so that you can be teachers and you can teach them. Is that what you were born for? To teach? Patients want you to become doctors so that you can treat them. Is that what you were born for? People want you to become bankers so you can handle their money and make more money out of money. Is that what you were born for? The buyers want you to become vendors. They want you to become realtors so that you can sell land to them. Is that what you were born for? They want you to become surveyors so that you can survey their lands before they buy it. And then they'll pay you a little bit of money for that. They want you to become shopkeepers. They want you to become fishmongers. They want you to become salesmen. They want you to become drivers. They want you to become actors so that they can entertain at your expense. I care deeply about these people, about all people. Sometimes, you know, some people, they envy people such as actors, actresses, and so on, because, you know, they live the good life as celebrities. I see it from a completely different angle. They spend their lives living, most of the time, a life that is there purely for the entertainment of the viewer. That's not their real life even. It's not even their real life. On stage, that's not their real life, right? Just imagine on stage they solve a problem. Does that solve a problem in their real life? But is that what they were born for? Just imagine that. Coming on stage from 9 to 5, acting for the entertainment of viewers. Yes, they get paid. They may get paid lots, maybe. But that's not what a human being was born for, not to earn money. Your human was born to earn happiness. And money does not bring happiness. If money brought happiness, then all rich people should be happy. Are they? There are people who I get to meet sometimes and they say, Swaminathan, today I have a big business. I have this huge company. I used to be happier when I didn't have all this. And I used to live a simple life. There was me, my wife, we had 2 children, and we just lived a very simple life. I was much happier back then because I could finish my job at 5, come home and be with my family. Today, I can't do that. Today, I have to work weekends, I have to go up nights, I'm working my socks off day in, day out because I have now become the company. I have become the business. I have no time for myself. I have no time for my children. I have built a huge house. It's a mansion. 5 stories. There's a basement in which I park my cars. There's a gymnasium to which I've never been ever since it was built. I even have a swimming pool on the roof. I don't go there, but my dogs get to dip in there once in a while. So I have built all this, but I don't even get to use it. But I have a big business to my name, and my bank account will say that I have so much to my name. I'm worth a lot, but to me, I'm worthless. You know, all these are sad stories when you come to the last full stop. I really don't want any of you to be in that situation. Why do I not want you to be in that situation? For one reason. You all have the merits to have come across this asana. You have found this asana, ladies and gentlemen. You have found this asana. For whatever merits you have done, for whatever circumstances your life has thrown you around, today you're here. And that is a miracle almost. It's almost a miracle. How many people out in Colombo versus how many here today? Today's a Sunday morning. You know, after you finish the sermon, we drive out and you look around what people are doing. It's a weekend. People enjoy themselves. They entertain themselves. They go around having fun. The restaurants will be full in a few hours' time. The clubs will be full with people partying and dancing in a few hours' time. It was probably the same last night as well, and on Friday night. You know, this is life for people. I'm shocked. I remember when I first went to the UK, and I also wanted to experience a little bit of that. My friends would ask me to come out Friday nights, and I used to go to that. Fortunately, my merits kept me safe, so there was no unsafe behavior of any sort, so that my merits kept me safe. But I went there. I spent many hours there. Music, dance, all that stuff. But all that time was wasted for absolutely nothing. My mind only wanted happiness, but I didn't know that because I didn't know the philosophy of happiness. We all start here. That's me. That's you. This is where I am today. I didn't get there in a straight line. I went like this. Today you're starting out from wherever you are. And I'm here now and I'm saying, hey, just come here, straight. You tell me, but Swaminathan, so look at how you've been around. Surely we should follow in your footsteps. No, that was the old me. That me was dead. This is a new me. When I've already been around the block, and I can tell you, hand on heart, that all of this was a waste of time. Time that I can now not get back. And I appeal to you, just come straight and save all this time and hard work and the heartache and the money and the investments and all that, because happiness is not in any of these places. But people said, come to the supermarket, come to the shops, come to the party. There will be happiness there waiting for you. Get married, have kids, buy a car, start up a business. Go work in a bank, become a doctor, get yourself a degree. Go abroad, settle down. Buy a house, buy another one. Invest. Bitcoin. I did all that. But happiness was up here. Nowhere here was happiness. So why do you want to go all this way before you get here? Why do you want to do what I did when I was a fool? I killed the old fool. I gave that up. I shut him off. Now I speak with wisdom. Happiness is not in any of these things. Why should we pay twice to learn the same lesson? Whether it's your life or my life, it's still paying, isn't it? Why should we pay twice to learn the same lesson? I already paid once. I've already paid once. Why do you also want to pay? To learn the same lesson? What lesson? That none of this was of any use? See, somewhere along this line, you will find yourself today. My point is this: if you're here, don't go all the way there to come up here. It's a straight path. I'm not necessarily talking about monkhood. I'm talking about your attitude of monkhood. Stop looking for happiness in any of these things, ladies and gentlemen, because happiness cannot be found in them. If they can, then I was wrong. I'm wrong today then. If happiness was there in any of these things, then I'm wrong today. Don't come to this sermon, because I'm filling your minds with rubbish. If happiness is to be found in investing, if happiness is to be found in getting married, if happiness is to be found in buying houses or buying property, going places, partying, trips, if happiness is to be found in those things, then don't come to this sermon, because then I'm wrong. I was right back then, I'm wrong today then. I can't be both at the same time. You see, I drew a line and said anything below this is wrong. Wrong in the sense not that they're sins. Wrong in the sense that if you do them for the sake of happiness, it's not going to get you there. Futile. That's what I mean. So here's what I want you to do. Here's what I'm asking you to do. You try and figure out where you are on this path. And then draw a straight line. Because the way the world works is not like that. If today you are a millionaire, then the next goal is what? To become a multimillionaire. Yes or no? That's the way the world works. If today you are a businessman and you've just started up one business and you have run it for the last 5 years and it's very successful, go to any business forum, what will they tell you to do? They'll say this: don't invest all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. What does that mean? Start up another one. So you can double your problems and reduce the number of hours you sleep. That's because people always have to live on the edge. Because I understand why though. People like living on the edge. It's like it's like going on a roller coaster ride. Because while they're on the edge, they're always on the edge of anticipation. This edge is the edge of expectation. It's that vexation that they feel. So when something works out in their favor, now they are relieved of that vexation and they feel a sense of pleasure. That is what people have become addicted to, because they don't know that there's an alternative. They are blind. Don't be led by the blind. I mean, you can't take life lessons from them and me at the same time, because these lessons are 180 degrees apart. One says start a business, the other says wrap it up as soon as you can. Or just do enough to sustain yourselves. Because you were not born to earn money or to feed your stomach or to build a house. That's not what you were born for. Your mind doesn't need a house. Your body needs a house. Your mind needs sights, sounds, smells, taste, touch. And to get all those, you had to be born with a body. And now that body has to be put in a house. That's what you got to understand. Let me ask you this question. I'm trying to bring these analogies so that it makes sense to you. In some houses, when they build houses, they make maids' quarters, don't they? If you have one at your place, is the maid's room as big as your bedroom? It's a unanimous no. Why? Please think. Why is the maid's room not as large as your bedroom? And in some places, they don't have it. Your bedroom has an attached bathroom. If you're feeling awfully generous, you might actually build an attached bathroom in your maid's bedroom, but not every house is like that. In most houses, the bathrooms are on the outside, so the maid has to go out, do their thing, and then come back. But not all houses are like that. In most houses, what you find is the maid's room will just be a small chamber. That's all. Probably maybe the size of a hut or a kuti that we have at the monastery. That's the size of the maid's room. It's not as big as your bedroom. Why is that? Do you somehow sleep more than she does? Do you need more space to sleep? To spread your arms and legs? A bed is as far as you can reach, right? When you extend your arms and legs. That's because of this. This is the reason for that. You didn't want to hire a maid to sleep. You hired a maid to get work from her. Yes? So really what you wanted was the work, the labor. That's what you wanted, labor. You're paying for her labor, not for her to sleep. Because you're hiring her labor, but you have to provide her with a room so that she can rest. That room is purely going to be a functional room. As long as it's got the basic amenities, there's a bed somewhere, right? She has access to a washroom, right? That's all you will provide for her, because that's not her home. That's just the place where she rests when she's tired, working. Yes, right. Well, in the same way. Now think about your own selves. What does your mind come into this world for? Happiness, right? But because it was ignorant, the mind thought that it needed eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and a body. And to give you all that, it had to come with a package. The package is your body. Now for your bodies, you have made a bedroom half the size of your house. But that's not what the mind wanted. If the mind wanted just happiness, how come your bedroom is so big? How come the kitchen is so big? How come the washroom is so big? How come your house is so big? This is just the maid. Your body is just the maid. It should just be a functional house, like the kuti that we live in. As long as it gives shelter, as long as there's a bed to sleep on, as long as there's a washroom that you can use, and somewhere where you can dress up, that's all you need. But how come your house is so big? Reason is, this is also you somehow. You married into your body. That's what happened. That's like when the maid arrives, you say, maid, you don't have to be in the maid's chambers, you can come and sleep in my bed. Now she's no longer your maid, is she? If you've invited her to the bedroom, that's no longer your maid. Read between the lines, you know what I mean. See, if that has happened, then somewhere down the line you've gone wrong, haven't you? Something's gone wrong down the line. If the maid who's come to work in your kitchen is now sleeping on your bed in your bedroom, something's gone wrong. Very wrong. That was not how it was supposed to happen. In the same way, your minds were born to experience freedom from suffering, unconditional happiness. But because the mind was ignorant, at the moment that it started this journey, it picked up all this baggage. And because it's picked up all this baggage, and you married into it, and you thought this baggage was you as well, you took the whole package as one, and you forgot that the mind is one and the body is another. I have to somehow free myself from this body. You never thought about that. You always thought that this is me, all of this is me. The thought that I have to free myself from my body sooner rather than later never crossed your mind until you listened to the Dhamma. And because of that, the whole of you was treated as one unit, and therefore your house had to be big enough to satisfy your whole being. When actually the mind simply came into this world looking for happiness. Something went wrong somewhere down the line. Very wrong.
Thank you for joining us on The Art of Being Happy from Jethavanarama Buddhist Monastery. May today's wisdom bring you peace and joy in your daily life. We'd love to hear how these talks have touched your life. Share your experiences with us on +91 6361 803371. Until next time, may you find happiness in each present moment. Brought to you by Sanathanavani, the voice eternal.